Everybody, Rich with Prep U down here in our food storage locker, stockpile room, whatever you want to call it. Be aware of your surroundings. I say it every video, right at the end. It's one of my catchphrases, always be aware of your surroundings. But what do I mean by be aware of your surroundings? Well, it covers a lot of things, but what I will say to you about being aware of your surroundings, it will save your life. Not only your life, it will save your family's lives, your friends' lives, whoever you're with, is to be aware of your surroundings at all times. I know, you don't want to be hyper vigilant. You don't want to like go crazy, always looking over your shoulders. But you don't have to as long as you do a few simple steps. And we're going to talk about that today. What are the few simple steps that you can do to be aware of your surroundings? Be ahead of the game. Get the drop on something that's going to happen well beyond what other people that are around you can see because they're not paying any attention. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to pay attention, how to be aware. If you have kids, especially kids that have phones, especially kids that can be easily, attention span of a gnat, as my father used to say. This video is also for them. This is stuff that you can learn to teach your children to do. This is an extremely important video. And I wouldn't say that. I'm not like some of the other sites that, just hype the heck out of it. What is in these papers can and will save your life, your kids' lives, your spouse's life, and your friend's life when you're out. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about be aware of your surroundings. Like I say it all the time. I just throw it out there. I've expanded upon it sometimes at the end. I've made it shorter, longer, whatever. But the thing about being aware of your surroundings is each location, all right, each location has its specific and special challenges for you to be aware of your surroundings. It all depends on where you're at. Like some of the places when you're traveling on planes, trains, and automobiles. Good movie, by the way. Great movie. Your home, not only inside your home, but when you're outside your home. Or maybe you have 40, 50 acres or 10 acres or a farm or whatever, wherever you're at on your property. Malls, shopping, single shopping stores or big malls. What kind of a mall is it? Is it a strip mall? Is it an outdoor mall? Is it an indoor mall? Restaurants, bars, bowling alleys. When you're on vacation, vacation is tricky because you really don't always know what's going on, especially if you've never been to that location before. Um, Going on a walk or a bike ride, taking the dogs for a walk, or just walking around the block because your doctor said, hey, you need to get some more exercise. School and work. Some of us work in a school. This guy, all right? A very vulnerable target. And some of your workplaces are the same. So let's look at some of the things that you need to do when you are being aware of your surroundings in different places. Okay, so let's hit this right off the bat. Much of this, your actions, depend on if you are alone or with others. It goes without saying, family is first, then you, and then finally others. How you react to a specific situation and location depends on who you're with. If you're by yourself, whole different set of things, and your mindset is totally different. You're with your kids, one of your kids, two of your kids, your wife, you're in a big group, totally changes how you're going to react to a situation and what you need to do to react to a situation. Out with friends, just having a good time. Your reaction time, depending on if you like have adult beverages, your reaction time is going to change to different situations. Hold on, I gotta let the other dog in. Come on, Charlo. Come on, bud. So each situation is different. Each circumstance is different. All right. Let's go over a few of these things. All right. Be aware of your surroundings by knowing another way out. Almost every store has a back entrance. Every restaurant has a back entrance, specifically for employees to take the garbage out and stuff like that. Know where that stuff is. Know where the exits are. In a mall, know the pattern of the mall. Know where all the exits are. Okay? Remember, large events are terrorist magnets, and anywhere a no gun sign is displayed is a criminal magnet. All right? So know these things right off the top, that you may not have others to help you. Okay? Large things, Israel found out that a music festival was the main target. So as I go through these, I should have said this, there's no specific order. It's just things for you to think about and stuff like that. Okay, so never get into somebody's vehicle that is forcing you to get into that vehicle. You may die running away, but you definitely will die or have worse things happen to you if you get in that vehicle. And that's something you should tell your kids. Scream, make a lot of noise, and run the opposite direction of the car. If the car is pointing that way, you're running this way. Teach your kids that. When they're old enough, don't freak them out. Don't ever let them get into a car. And don't ever believe this comment. Hey, your fill in the blank, need your help. You got to come with me right now. For kids who may have siblings or whatever, they may go, oh my gosh, okay, my mom sent this person. I have no idea who this person is. I'll get in the car with them and I'll go help my brother, or I'll go help my little sister. Teach them never to get into a car, no matter who it is, unless it's a relative or a trusted family friend. And even at that, some trusted family friends, we know where that can head. Okay? If you're in a situation and all of a sudden you see a crowd running that way, don't go that way. Go with the crowd. Get out of the way. Get away from what's going on, because the crowd is not running to it unless they're giving away free gift cards at Cabela's or Bass Pro. Then that's a totally different subject. Always know where you're going, especially in an unfamiliar area. You go, Rich, how am I going to know where I'm going in an unfamiliar area? Google Maps or any map program. All right. You're on vacation. A lot of people, when they're on vacation, they don't have their own car. They use Ubers or taxis or stuff like that. Before you get into that taxi or whatever, go to your phone, put in where you're at, put in where you're going, and you can actually follow the route to see if your driver's actually taking there. Now, the driver may know a special super secret way to get there, but if he starts to, or she starts to deviate, be aware, be prepared, get out. All right. Never get into a cab or a ride share alone, especially if you're drunk. Now, that not only goes for girls, that goes for guys too. If you're inebriated, have somebody with you at all times. All right. Another thing, and we do this in my family. Make sure family and friends know where you are going, how you are getting there and back, and what you are doing. I know this sounds really invasive, but if you're going somewhere and let's say there isn't cell service or your phone dies and you disappear, no one's going to know where to even start looking for you. If you just jump in the car and, well, let's just take a ride cross country, and you don't tell anybody, they won't know even where to look. Now, they can probably follow the pings on your phone from, antenna to antenna and finally get you there. But that could take a long time. That could actually take a court order to be able to get that information. People may not know you're gone for a while. When we go on vacation and we're driving for multiple days or whatever, we always let somebody back at home know they are the key person, and especially if you have 2 or 3 cars going, they are the key person. When you get to your location, you not only tell the other cars, but you tell that person back home, hey, I've made it, I'm here. The others will let you know also. It's just good to know, keep track of it. I know some of you are going, oh, come on, Rich, that's ridiculous. No, there's no reason to do that. There's a lot of reasons to do that, because you could get into an accident and you may not be able to help yourself, and you may need somebody else to help you. It's very, very important to let other people know what's going on. Driving. Okay, it's winter time. It's getting darker earlier and stuff like that. Don't fuel at night, and don't fuel up in a unfamiliar area. Fuel where you know the area, you know the surroundings, you know what's going on. You can look around and see, is something different? Is something off kilter? I'm not filling up here. I'm going someplace else. Fuel up during the daytime. There's more people around. People can see stuff. People can't hide as well in the daylight. Fuel up during the day. When you're driving, leave yourself an out. The thing I learned is when you're pulling up to somebody, make sure that the front of your car just comes up to the back tires of the car ahead of you. That gives you plenty of room to get around. Should they stall? Should they not be paying attention? They're on their phone and you're honking and not going anywhere. And be careful about honking at people these days. That could be an issue. If you can, be in a lane, an outside lane where you can get out. Even if you have to jump a curb, jump that curb and get away. Okay? Be aware of minor accidents. Don't get out of your car. All right. Use your mirrors. Your mirrors are there for a reason. Always, always use your mirrors. A good thing to use your mirrors for is when you are come to your destination, your home, work, wherever, look in your mirrors. There's a reason why military guys, when they're walking, they're always looking back and forth. They're looking up. They're looking behind them. They're making sure that nobody's following them, making sure so the guys in the back and the rear, guys at their 6 are making sure that everything's cool. Nobody's following them. Use your mirrors in the car. Look. Make sure nobody is there. When you're driving home, be aware of the cars behind you. Have you made 4 left turns and a right turn to get home, and that car behind you is doing the same thing? Exactly the same thing. If it is, drive past your house. Keep making those turns. If that car is following you on those turns, get to a police station. Get to a fire station. Get somewhere where there's other people. Okay? Don't be a hero. Don't get out and say, hey, what are you doing? That could be the last thing you say. Could be the last time anybody sees you alive. If you're driving down the highway, and we all want to help people. We don't want, people get stuck on the road. You would hate to be stuck on the road and everything. But be very careful. There is an awesome video out there, and I can't remember, I believe it's on YouTube, of some stranded drivers under a viaduct. A guy's pulling over with his dash cam is on. He pulls over. The thieves or the criminals made one minor mistake. They jumped out of the cars with weapons in their hand before he had stopped and was blocked in by coming all the way up to see what's happened. He saw him get out of the car, started running toward him with weapons. You see the car just go and take off and gone. Be very careful about helping people. I know I don't want to be cynical, but be very careful about who you're helping and how many people you're helping. Now, you might see one person, but there might be another car someplace else, might be somebody in the weeds. Be very careful about that. If you can afford it, especially for the women in your life, get AAA. All they have to do is one phone number, call it, AAA comes out, helps them out. They can stay in the car until AAA gets there. You know it's going to be AAA. It's a tow truck with AAA all over it. It's always a great thing to have. Let's see. All right. We talked about it earlier about always knowing a second way out. It's very important. When you go into that restaurant or you go into that bar or wherever, when you walk in there, look, you know where the front entrance is, look for another way out. Identify the exits. Identify concealment or confinement locations also in that restaurant. Locate yourself so that your back is to the back of the restaurant and you can see the front. Very rarely does anything go down where they come in the back door. Most perpetrators come in the front door and cause an issue. If you're there and available, you take off. Have a keyword for your family. Like if you're sitting down at a restaurant and you see something going on and all you have to say is giraffe. Everybody isn't going to go, where's a giraffe? They're going to look at you and go, what direction are we going? And you point the direction and you go. You grab each other's hands and you are out of there. Gone. Goodbye. Out. We talked about driving home. I'm going to back up a little bit because I forgot one point. When you're driving home and you pull into your street, many people have been accosted once they open their garage door and they pull into the garage. These people come out of nowhere. Be aware of cars that don't belong on your street. That's pretty easy to know. You know what people drive in your area, people on your block. I even know the people that always come around to visit family and stuff like that. So if I'm driving down my street and I see cars I don't know, I'm hyper vigilant on if there's anybody just wandering around in the shadows. Are they holding off and stuff like that? And if you are inside the house and you hear somebody outside, your car alarm goes off or whatever, be very careful. These are not single people stealing cars and stealing other stuff. They are gangs. They are 3 and 4 people, and there's always a guard watching or an overwatch watching with some type of a weapon, normally a high-powered rifle. All right? So be very careful of that. We talked about the entrances and exits. Sit where you can see the front. All right, public transportation. Let's talk about public transportation. A lot of people take public transportation. It's easy. It's fantastic. When my daughter lived downtown in the big city, she didn't have a car. She had Uber. She had the bus. She had the train. She had the subway. She didn't need it. When you get on a car of a train or in a bus or an Uber, Uber's pretty easy. You should be able to figure that one out because you get an alert of the car and the driver and all that kind of stuff. They can show your ID. But in a train or a bus, once you get in, scan that car or that bus. Look around. Is it just a bunch of moms with kids and older people and everything's cool and everything? Or are you getting on and there's some rough-looking characters on that actual car? Well, if there are, get right off. Wait for the next train. Wait for the next subway to come by. Sit with others. Don't ever sit by yourself. Always watch who is getting on at the different stops. Maybe you might get on this stop and you only go one stop and you're off again. But if you're going multiple stops, people get on and off all the time. Late at night, there's not many people on there. During the day, you have lots of people, okay? But as it gets late, like my dad always said, nothing good ever happens after 10 o'clock. Watch who's getting on. If all of a sudden everybody gets off and you're the only one in that car, you're a potential victim. Absolutely no doubts about it. You know, a great place to be is look for a transit officer or a police officer or a transit employee. If they're just sitting there, hang out with them, talk to them, make friends. Like I said, sit by an exit, escape if you feel trouble gets on. Be aware of your sixth sense. If the hair on the back of your neck is standing up and you think you get that gut feeling that something's wrong, something's wrong. Our bodies know this kind of stuff. Our psyche, through our eyes, can see this, and we take past experiences, past information, and it's processing that all the time. Your body's telling you to get off, do something different, do it. All right? Don't hesitate. Always, when you're sitting by an exit, it's a great way to escape an emergency. And you can escape really quick if trouble starts. Obviously, you're not going to escape if the train's moving, but you can always get off. Here's the one that you really need to push towards your kids in this situation and all situations. When you are out in the public, stay off your phone. If you're like this, looking at your phone, and you're not paying attention to what's going on, not aware of your surroundings, you're a victim already, waiting to be victimized. Teach your children that. Tell them to stay off their phones. If the phone goes off, pick it up. Okay, quick text to so-and-so, or I can text later. Put it right back in your pocket and keep your head on a swivel. You've heard that. Keep your head on a swivel. Always look back and forth. Be aware of behind you. If you can't have your back up against the wall, people can get around and behind you, so be very close to that wall, or be very aware of behind you. ATMs, not at night. Don't go to an ATM at night unless it's well lit. There's a bunch of people with you, and never take large amounts of sums out, and protect your PIN. That is extremely important, to protect your PIN. So these are some of the things that you have to think about. This is when I say be aware of your surroundings. This is what I mean. Be aware of your surroundings at all time. If you can see that the suggestions that I've given you today, they aren't major. They aren't crazy. You're not constantly, doing stuff. Hey, when you're driving a car, you're driving down the road, do you look at your mirrors, making sure everything's cool? Making sure, there's, not somebody driving up crazy behind you, or your mirrors when you move over. You're always watching 360 when you're driving. Just do that when you're out for a walk. Do that in your own home. It's like we don't always, anybody locks their house when you're outside in the backyard. Now, your front door, if you're outside, your front door should be locked. Definitely. If you have a large backyard or acreage and you're going to go take care of it, lock your back door. Because people will watch, people will see what's going on, they will case your place, and they will see your patterns. They'll figure out patterns. If you have something they really want, they will track your patterns, and they will get you when you're most vulnerable. Lock your house. The best protection you can have in your house are like these two guys down here. They're not big dogs at all. But you know what? They hear everything, and they bark, and they yip, and they go crazy when anything is abnormal around here. Okay? They just know what's going on. And better than a sign out in front of your house that says, warning, protected by whatever, is a water bowl, a leash hanging over the fence, the fact that the dogs are running around. Let them bark. Let people know that you got dogs. Take them for a walk. Let everybody know that you've got dogs, because they are great for letting you know that something is wrong. All right? Now, there's many alarm companies that you can also get for your house, which is also a good idea. But you follow these simple little ideas about how to be aware of your surroundings, and I guarantee you'll be a lot safer than the average person out there. Teach these to your kids. Send this video to your kids. They might go, oh, geez, another video from mom or dad. God, what is it with them? What is it with this Rich from Prep U, you know? But whoa, wait a second. At the end of it, they might go, okay, all right, I got some information out of that. Okay. Well, it might be information that just saves their lives. And would hate for you to go back and say, yeah, I remember about it. I was taught about that before, but you know what? Yeah, I've never taught that to my kids. I never told my spouse about that. I don't ever want you to have to second guess and be mad that you didn't teach something to your kids when they're out and about. Share this video with everybody you know. Your parents, especially your parents, they're as vulnerable as you are. When you get as old as me, even my kids go, Dad, you know, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Dad, are you carrying? And Mom goes, he's always carrying. So there's never worries about that. But there you go. That's why I say always be aware of surroundings. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting on this. If you have any other suggestions or great ideas, post them. Let other people see them. Last couple of our videos, we had a lot of comments, and I think I got most of you, maybe 95%. I want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, everybody. And like I always say at the end of the video, always be aware of your surroundings, no matter where you're at, home, work, play, school, on vacation, taking a walk. Always have at least 3, 6, 9 months of food per person, and others that may come to shelter in your home to shelter in place also have 72 hours or more food ready to bug out if a disaster strikes at a moment's notice. And please, please prep like your life depends on it, because it really does. Thanks a lot. Don't forget, pass this video on. Thank you.